Good evening. Back on ESO. I did think that maybe it would be Classic WoW, but no! There's a button there that says Classic WoW. There's another button. Oh my god. Be quiet. There's another button that says, you know, Classic WoW test. Neither of them work. I'm not actually in. They've just given me the buttons and clogged up my hard drive. So I'm just going to do my thingy dailies and then we're back off finding dragons again. So all in all, actually, today, I had a bit of a stinker at work. Hiya, Jimmy. Came back to find England had got themselves the Reds kicked in the cricket. So actually, been a bit of a disaster, all things told, today. Right, what do I want here? Stamina. Stamina. No.
Denis.
Oh well, it's out at the end of August, I suppose. That's I don't know. That's assuming that I have the time to play much of it. Copper ring. Oh no, that's a pewter ring. I'm on to copper now. Damn it. I noticed, although I didn't actually read or watch or whatever it was, that Ian Hazakostas is going on again with World of Warcraft going, oh yeah, sorry, we got that bit wrong. I can't even, what was it to do with pruning or something? I don't even care anymore. But it's just, and everyone keeps falling for it again, don't they? Well, not everyone. It's far too many though. No, don't steal anything. Because they do it every time. Or he has done it now the last couple of expansions. Got to the end of it. I mean, it's not the end of it. But gone, oh yeah, we got the things they defended to the hilt. And then, oh yeah, we got that wrong. And then they say what they're going to do to put it right next time, you know, in the future, obviously not now. And then they don't do it. And then they just keep cycling around the same old crap. So yes, actually I probably shouldn't even think about that. Because it is a day today when I'm going to have a good old moan about anything. What? There we go. There's another one somewhere. Oh, recipe. Oh, already know it. Ah. What am I missing? Sure, I haven't opened all of them up. Oh, there it is. I usually just do one at a time for this specific purpose. Because when you open something up and go into your inventory, it will put the things at the top, but the next time you go in, they won't be at the top anymore. Which is fine. It has to be. Now what's my bag space like? It's fine, but I could... Oh dear, my watch is bullying me again. Could do with lightening up a little bit, I suppose.
This one was 3 paces wide and eating a guar.
Hi, Erasmus. Oh, let's have a look. So at the moment I'm having to draw up my summer project plans for in 3 weeks when I get 6 weeks off. Obviously I've drawn up what I'm going to be doing with the other channels, but I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what I'm doing with this. The problem is that gaming, there's a certain outlay of time required, which at work this year I haven't really had. I'm not on summer break yet, no. 3 more, I think it's 3 more weeks. I think the 12th of July rings a bell. I think we finish on the 12th of July, but I'm almost certain we do. But yeah, so...
We race fine horses.
Obviously what I'd like to do... Well, actually, to be honest with you, the day I've had today, what I'd like to do is really push the more... less niche channels and see if I can build up towards independence with them, and actually if I need to leave my job in a fit of pique to do that. But elsewhere, but that's not necessarily hugely realistic at the moment. Now I've forgotten where I actually need to go quest wise. I'll go there for now. Because it's a bit like, you know, they always sort of say, you know, World of Warcraft, things like that, a bit addictive, World of Warcraft, all that sort of stuff. And I never really felt addicted to it. I played it a lot. But I was, you know, I always stepped away and had other things to do and all the rest of it. But I have to say, having been away from it, I knew I wanted something there. Away from it, and for so long, it is like I have completely gone cold turkey on it. I was watching, now this is something, because people keep saying as well, oh, you know, you clearly lost weight, and I'm thinking, well, I'm just a disembodied head here, how can you tell? And because I have, you know I have, because I'm monitoring it. I draw a little graph and it keeps going down ever since the surgery, and also I'm, you know, wearing smaller clothes. But I was watching a few videos of my World of Warcraft videos, and I was pottering around. I came across my Mythic Argus kill, and for some reason actually it was private on the I don't actually know why I didn't make it public, but anyway I didn't. I forget the reason for that now. I didn't do anything terribly embarrassing in it, so it's alright. But I looked at myself, because in the first little introduction thing, the head hole, whatever it is, looks bigger. Well, these are smaller clothes. These are much smaller clothes than I've been wearing. But I'll show you in a minute. I'm building up to something here. I'll show you. So I looked at this video and it had a little introduction of, because normally what I do when I'm showing a kill video is my face when I've been streaming is blocked out by the thing. And I didn't, and I looked at myself and thought, oh my god, I can actually, because for me it's been gradual, so you don't notice it. I'm going to show you this, right. And this is why this was over here when I first started broadcasting, because I was doing it for comparison. Where is it? That is me less than a year ago. This isn't the kill video, of course, but you know, when I looked at that, I thought, oh, I need to watch a video where I'm just talking more in it. This is from last August. This is less than a year ago. And I looked at it, I thought, Jesus Christ, did I look like that? I thought, oh my God. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It is. It's an absolutely huge difference. You know, that t-shirt that I'm wearing there is several sizes bigger than this. And as you say, the head hole is bigger. Because the problem is, when you make the very large clothes, like the really big clothes, they don't think about things. They just make normal clothes bigger, which means they make the neck hole bigger as well, even though your neck may not actually be bigger. So the more the clothes go down, the more in proportion the neck's likely to be. I mean, the button's undone there, so it looks a bit bigger. But yeah, I thought, God, let's get rid of that. And put that back. So I could sort of see what people were talking about, because when people were saying, oh, you could tell from the face, I thought, can you really? Surely I still look like me. But no. I now know what they were talking about. Right, I need to get out of here. So, yeah, because, I mean, it goes in different places. Well, it's not like even when you lose weight. There's some... Oh, do you know what? I don't reckon this is... No, that's not a quest. What am I doing here? Right, I need to actually find out where I need to be for quests, don't I? I need elsewhere. Northern elsewhere, that'll do. 2 queens. Show on map. Alright, okay. That's fine. I'm still in roughly the right place. So, I mean, I do a graph and I do little projections off it. It's, because every now and then, you know, there's like a week where I don't lose that much. And I think, oh, right, it's slowing down now. This is the time it's slowing down. Then it doesn't. Like, the week before, like a couple of weeks ago, well, last week, not the one just gone. I weighed myself on Sundays, and I hadn't lost that much. In fact, I basically hadn't lost anything. It had gone down by 200 grams. That's basically a fart. So it had actually not gone down at all. And I thought, okay, is this a plateau or is this, you know, it's slowing down? And then when I weighed myself this Sunday, it had gone down by another nearly 3 pounds. So it's still going down. At some point, it has to tail off. I just don't know when that some point is. Am I in combat? Am I in combat? I've accidentally pulled something that's run away now. So... It is all very odd though. Because I had tried... I took a photo of myself in January. So this was after the surgery, but you know, not long after. And...
Heading to Serindar's cradle. I
Actual
hope
request.
water, or rather the lack of it. Something.
And and then I took another one a couple of weeks ago, and I looked, and it was just basically front on. I looked and I thought, there's actually not a lot of difference. I actually didn't perceive a lot of difference at all. But you know, I suppose when you look at it from different points of view, or focus on different parts of the body, then it can, yeah, it can be a big difference. I mean, the weight has to have come off somewhere, I suppose. So I'm in danger if it does keep on like this. You know, in autumn, say, maybe. Actually going into the high street and just going and getting clothes. Although, I don't know, it's always a bit tricky. You're not really sure exactly when it's going to go. One think it slows down. Yeah, well, I mean, it'll have to slow down at the point at which I've not got much excess fat left. Now, there'd still be excess weight because, you know, I mean, with the loose skin, they always say, oh, it can depend and things like that. And yeah, sure it can. In my case, I am quite certain I will be left with excess skin. It's just a case, and one thing that, you know, no one can predict, the doctor or nurses or anyone. They can't predict how much or how or anything like that. That's one of my biggest worries at the moment. There are downsides to it all. That's one of my main concerns at the moment, what it'll be like with the excess skin. If it's just excess skin that's like unsightly, but at the end of the day, when you've got your clothes on, no one would really know. I'd be delighted with that. I would be spectacularly happy with that. What I don't want is where it stops you being able to wear, like, you know, normal clothes. Because that's the reason I've done it, really. It's not... Although, you know, it's not health issues, even though I know that I would have had problems later on. But I didn't have... Well, I still don't, of course. But I didn't have any health issues related to my weight. I don't know where I'm going. Tell you what, let's just kill something for a minute. Right. I want to be over there. There's a thing there, but I can't tell whether they're up or down on it. Oh, it says below. I should actually just pay attention, shouldn't I?
We must do something about the water, Silujo. If you would just...
No adept can face the wastes alone, child. This one insists you
What's this?
stay.
Oh. It's not a chest.
Vasby cannot understand. Only puddles remain in the Ereptorium cisterns.
I can up
but
the calories
still
if it does
Silujo
no, I don't.
forbids this one to act.
I don't want it to stop. I just can't believe that it has gone for as long as it
Thank
has
you for helping.
at the rate it has.
Vasby
That's
does know
all.
The Adeptor. We do what we can. About the Vas... Most... Yes. No.
And when the last time I went to see the nurse, I mean, she said that it carries on at that sort of rate for about a year. And I thought, well, I mean, I suppose I'm now 7 months. At the time, I was about 6 months after the surgery.
Oh, you found it.
But
We should examine the gate at the top of the ramp.
literally, if it carries on at the same rate, I will have lost almost all the excess weight after that year. And when you consider, it's not like I'm being really good. I don't know, it just seems a bit weird.
Open and dry, as expected. Hopefully we'll find the blockage at the second gate.
But anyway, just have to just see how it
Vasby
goes.
offers a portion of the aqueduct. Vasby will follow the... Ha!
Ideally do a bit more walking and stuff like that this summer as well, up the exercise a bit. Not for calorie loss, that would be pathetic. It will just be for general fitness, I think. But my problem is, I used to be very, very sporty. But even at the time, I didn't like doing exercise for the sake of exercise. Very boring, even then when I was actually fit. I was fit just because I played a lot of sports. So my exercise was effectively playing sports. And, different one. It's not like someone who plays a sport and then does a load of gym training or something on it. Every week I was doing badminton, rugby, judo, at least, and then sometimes other things as well. So the fact that I was very active and I used to cycle everywhere meant that I was, just naturally fit. So, there's no point in trying to pretend that when I was young and fit, if I couldn't be asked doing exercise for the sake of exercise, that I suddenly would when I'm not very fit at all. How about the ghrelin production? Has it kept low? Yeah, I mean, I do get hungry as such, but not in the way I used to. It's a completely different sensation. It's very mild. Like yesterday, for example, so I came home from work. I had,
Curious.
I didn't get away right away on time because there was a meeting after work. And then, so I got home, put out the video for the political channel.
Maybe we could
So recorded, put that out. Then I had a game, the local league Warhammer game. So I had to, and I hadn't packed it up, so I had to pack that up because I take it in this for this particular army. I take it in the same bag as I use for work. And and I had to do it quite quickly. So basically, I ate a few Brazil nuts. That was it. That was my tea. So
another shred of
later on, about 9 o'clock in the evening, I came home because I thought I ought to have something. So I had something then, but I wasn't like ravenous. I wasn't starving. I just thought I need some food. But let's say something else had come up and I couldn't have eaten. I'd have been fine. I just wouldn't have eaten anything last night, and I wouldn't have gone to bed like, my stomach rumbling or anything. That doesn't really happen. So yeah, it's not like in the first few weeks after the surgery where I had no sensation of hunger at all. But it is not a sense of hunger in the way that I would have known it
Like the
before.
one Busby read
I've
every
never
night as a kid.
experienced that.
Srendar's mercy. Please hurry, Walker. Swaddlecloth? Busby recognizes that pattern. Come, let's keep looking. Come.
Oh, down there. Oh, hello. Very fancy.
And we find
what's
a
that over there? I
death
see
rust.
something shiny.
Of course. Something
Oh, is
that
it
gleams
just a
to take
trove?
to the sands behind the
I
stone.
think it's a thief's trove. Oh, she's nicked the chest. I was too busy looking at the shiny thing. Mind you, should have been ahead of me anyway. Too busy looking at the shiny thing. I didn't look at that. It is going... Oops, crap. Quite well. It is good. I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I'm able to wear things that I haven't been able to wear for a few years. Like, I'm almost getting to the point where I'm even thinking about the style of clothing I used to wear that I don't anymore. There's no point when you're really overweight. It just doesn't work. So, I've already started wearing my long black leather coat again. And, see, when I see at the moment, well, I'll tell you what I've been doing. Recently, I've been starting to wear trousers to work again. By that, I don't mean I used to just go in my underpants. But I stopped messing about with trousers and just started going in jeans. And so I started wearing that again. Now, what I used to wear when I was younger and slimmer is I used to wear proper full formal set. Like I'd have a suit with a waistcoat and everything. You know, quite, in my own way, quite stylish. Not fashionable. Deplore fashion, but quite stylish in my own way. I had a particular style. And it's getting to the point where I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe in a year's time, well, half a year's time even, maybe I'd actually be able to adopt it again. I'll maybe move slowly towards it. Even though you said I don't see much content. I would like to do more content. I am having a real quandary at the moment, because I'll tell you the situation. It's gaming stuff, like gaming stuff, you need you've got to play a game. So you've got, and you're quite involved in it, and there's the time to spend on it, everything like that. World of Warcraft, it wasn't impossible to have carried on just doing it as a casual player. Plenty of people do stuff as a casual player, but playing it casually wasn't fun to me, and there's no point in getting yourself into a situation where you're playing it just to do the... Because I really liked the content. Even when I was not enjoying BFA, I was still enjoying doing the content. So I played BFA still. But the problem then is you end up in a situation where... It's like Heels vs Babyface, isn't it? When he was playing it and he got really ratty because he wasn't enjoying it. And all you end up doing is making videos moaning about the bloody thing. And hankering after, like, better times.
The ghost could emerge at any moment.
Just says down. You know, so then Warhammer's a possibility. The problem with Warhammer is that also takes an outlay of time and, you know, recording, setting cameras and stuff like that, the gaming club, which people are happy for me to do, but... And I will do that this summer. But again, there's the time to do the video. The editing would, to do a good job of it, would take quite a while. So it's just really a mess. I don't know. And here's the thing, like, this work this year, I knew, this is why I had to stop raiding, because I knew that all the stuff I was going to be doing was going to be too much. And this is one of the reasons I'm pissed off today, because next year they're aiming to make it even worse, and unnecessarily worse, but deliberately worse. This is why, literally, I'm not kidding, today, when I was mad as hell. 10 years ago, when I was a bit more young and reckless, I would have handed my notice in already. It'd already be in. But I've stopped myself doing that, and I thought, well, I'll leave it till over summer. Because it's not like I've got a job to go to. But that's why I would like over summer to really try and push, you know, the other channel, just to see, you know, if I were doing it with plenty of time on my hands, could I? That was never possible of this channel. For me, obviously it is for some people. Oh, they're just launches. But with the other one it might be. And then of course, if it is, you create a situation where not only do you not have to put up with shit at work, but you have more time for other things as well. It's almost like if I had another year, it might have been alright. But I think it probably would have needed that. So the end result is I may end up getting...
Let's split up. We can corner him.
I may end up getting another job somewhere else. And then that will be loads of work, because when you start working in another place, you don't, you know, there's everything to learn. You've got the new systems to learn, new classes, your new courses, your new timetable, who people are, how to get things done. It's...
Busby, beloved child. Finally you have come home at last.
What's he doing up there? Am I supposed to get myself up there now?
I don't... We only want to restore the water.
Water? No, no, no. You come for answers, child. Answers from ashes. Take her to our camp at the Bandar Gate. Kill the other and clean.
Is he going to jump down for me, or have I actually got to find my way up
Scouring
there?
fire will claim Sarindar's cradle soon enough.
Yeah, okay. Alright then. I don't mind. See some changes, yeah. I mean, I'd still intend to give that, you know, the next expansion. We'll see how it... Obviously, BlizzCon is likely to be, I guess, the first time we'll find anything about it. I'm always a bit wary of that time, though, because it's always very aspirational. It's like, oh, these things are going to be in the game, but there's no details of how it's going to work, so you can't really judge whether it will work or not. I mean, every expansion, when they say what it's going to involve, always sounds dead shiny. I mean, there was nothing not to like about their announcement for BFA. Apart from the fact they insisted on artifact power still.
Silujo saw everything. We must save Busby quickly, please.
But again, the thing about Ian saying they went too far, ignore that completely, because he said the same thing at the end of Legion about things that he then doubled down on in BFA. He said the same thing about things in WoD that they doubled down on in Legion, although transition to WoD to Legion was a lot kinder for him. I would ignore anything he says until they've followed through on it. Because I'm seeing a real pattern in terms of the things that they get criticised for, they defend to the hilt, defend. And then once an expansion's well underway and they need to start gearing up for the next one, then they start going, oh yeah, you know, we went a bit too far with that, or we shouldn't have done that, or that was a bit wrong. And you think, all right, they've at least learned the lesson, and then they're just done.
The people of elsewhere cast them out.
Warfront sounded great, yeah. Well, I mean, the island sounded brilliant, and you know, it all sounded decent. It all sounded all right. You know, there was nothing specifically to complain about in it. It's just the realization of it. Because the problem is they design these systems not to be fun and engaging, unfortunately, but to keep us in. Like, they're trying to design it to compel us to play like all the time or something. And as I say, I always thought things like Artifact Power were there. They were a pain in the arse for serious players, but they were there to encourage casual players to stay subscribed. But then when I tried it as a casual player, I just thought, no, this whole system does nothing for me. You know, what do you need a high neck level for if you're just going to do world quests and a bit of LFR or random battlegrounds or something? Messing about now. Yeah, I never got into RuneScape. It really didn't sound like the sort of thing I would. I mean, things like this, like ESO, I think is really, really good as a casual game. Star Wars: The Old Republic's quite nice. Again, just pottering about. I'll probably play some of that again this summer. I've been playing a bit of Baldur's Gate recently. So I'll be interested in Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that. Lord of the Rings Online's alright. The main problem with Lord of the Rings Online, of course, is the quite fearsome levelling. It's a worse grind than WoW. You know, it's a brilliant representation of Tolkien's Middle-earth. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah.
Before we go, the band.
I mean, I may play a bit of that this summer as well, who knows. Miss when it was grinding but not forced to get into the content. See, I've never enjoyed grind. Like some people used to say WoW was grinding. I never found it. So I never felt that I was doing anything specifically to grind. I like...
Busby, you are unharmed, yes?
No. My daughter is no longer
I
yours.
never really felt like I had to grind anything.
No!
Yep.
Silajo! No! He breathes, but faint. Yes. This one, oh, this one. How could it not be?
I mean, I have played games where it seemed a bit grind. I mean, I say Lord of the Rings Online is, if we're honest. You know, there's quite a lot of grind in it. I mean, the systems they use to get you to grind, I think, are at least alright. But grind itself is not. I don't appreciate grind. Oh, I don't think I've got an experience boost.
Busby. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that doesn't do anything yet. No, I haven't. Didn't think I had. Right, let's sort that out. Grinding honour points to get PvP. Yeah, I mean, technically I did do that. Not honour points, sorry, but honour in vanilla. But that was during summer. One of the summers, I can't. Must have been 2006, I guess. And it was only so I could get the Knight Captain title. That's all I wanted. I actually stopped at night. I mean, I had all summer. I could have easily got to. I wouldn't have got to Grand Marshal, but I could have easily got to Marshal just by no life in it over summer. But I just wanted that specific title. I thought it looked cool. And then later on, it paid dividends because Knight Captain was exactly the rank you needed to be able to get the replica PvP gear, which on my human paladin looks great. I like it. Oh, there. So that technically was a... Well, there's no technically about it. That was a grind. But it was summer and I didn't mind. I just kept going into... at the time as well, they had all the battlegrounds out, so there was Alterac Valley. And Alterac Valley was a lot easier to get into then. It was alright. You like working towards a goal in games nowadays feels more like progress doesn't matter as much. See, I like working towards a goal, but not a fill the bar goal. You know, this is why, you know, only the sort of hard mode raiding is really what did it for me. Because I've always sort of been attracted to things the way there's going to be some real challenge. I was just thinking recently, like, even when I was like over 30 years ago now, and I was in the Scouts, and well, basically what happened was I was very disinterested in quite a lot of things. When I was in the Cubs, just before the Scouts, I was really disinterested. And the way it worked is you were in these groups called Sixers, because there were 6 of you in it. And it was dead man's shoes for like getting the senior rank in it. Like, as soon as the oldest person left, because they were too old to be in the Cubs, they went off to the Scouts or just stopped altogether. Then the next in line went up for it. And then it was almost my turn. And then one of the Scout leaders said, oh, it's not automatic you'll be the 6er, you know. You know, because basically I was a lazy arsehole. I didn't know anything. Because I wasn't interested. My dad made me go to the Cubs. I wasn't. I didn't like it. Oh no, got it again. I need to sort out another power socket for that. And so I, all of a sudden, not because I wanted to be the 6th, but just out of, because everyone moved up like that, it would have been socially embarrassing not to have been. So I just suddenly started working really hard and ended up with like 3 arms full of badges. And the thing is, although I didn't want to be in the Cubs, I did want to join the Scouts. Because in the Scouts you played with fire. In the Cubs, when you went camping, someone else made the fire. I want to make the fire, if you don't mind. And so, so I wanted to join the Scouts. So when I joined the Scouts, I carried on, basically, you know, the same work rate that I had in the Cubs. And the bottom line is, within a year, like, literally, I joined the Scouts, and a month or 2 later, I was going to my first summer camp with the Scouts, and I was the lowest of the low. I'll tell you how low I was in the pecking order. The Scout leader came up to me, and he said, this field, and he says, this is our pitch. And I said, okay. And he said, you see all those cows, because it used to be a cow field. Well, it was a cow field, they'd moved the cows. He said, you see all those cow pats? And I said, yeah. And he gave me a shovel, says, good lad. So it was my job to shovel the shit, basically, which I put to evil use. So that's where I was on that first scout camp. Literally a year later, I was a patrol leader. You know, which was... And the thing is, when I went on the patrol leader's camping course, where they examine you and because, you know, you have to go through a course and get qualified. It was quite clear, although I was all right, there were lots of things I didn't know because I simply didn't have the experience. And so what happened was, after that, I did pass it still. I knew enough, thankfully. I thought to myself, right, there's gaps in my knowledge here, because most patrol leaders would have been in the Scouts for 2 or 3 years before they made patrol leaders. I wasn't. I was less than a year. And so I got books out of the library on all sorts of things related to scouting and camping, and just learned and practiced and got myself up to where I was really good. See you later, Jimmy. And so when I went to my second summer camp, now this was something called Sherwood 88, which was a huge international jamboree. So there's like thousands of scouts from all over Europe. And they organised this massive competition called Now Get Out of That. Do I have the thing here still? I think it might be downstairs. So what they did is they'd get teams of like, were there 5 of us in it? There were 5 of us, I think, with each one headed up by a patrol leader. And they would mix and match you. So I was a patrol leader then, so I was put in charge of a team. And on my team, there was one lad who was in my troop, so I knew him. There were 2 Danish scouts, and then there was an Irish kid who actually, after the first challenge, pissed off. And they gave us these 5 challenges, various sort of, you know, the standard sort of scouting ones.
Well, look,
and we won.
It's a,
you know, out of hundreds of these teams. I thought, well, that's not a bad little... And that's the sort of thing, I absolutely loved that. And I've always gone for things like that. I always need something that's a real challenge. And World of Warcraft was able to supply that for a good long time. Sometimes, you know, I find it in a hobby like this, most of the time, to be honest. Sometimes I found it in work. I have been like a head of a subject area at a previous place I worked, you know, and that's good. I like having strategic control. I like having a project where I can develop a strategy and implement it. That's what I like to do. At the moment, I don't have that. And what I'm resenting at the moment is the fact that the reason I don't have that at the moment is because work was going to be too full on this year. But at the same time, although there's a need for, because the leader of our department, head of department's gone, they don't really want me to take over it. So I think, well, okay, in a way that's fine. But then I don't want to have to spend so much time at work that I then don't have time to get into a hobby enough to be able to have that strategic control again, if you see what I mean. So at the moment, yeah, that's why I'm in a bad mood today, actually. Because I'm just thinking, I don't know how I manage this. And that is what as I say, made me, if I hadn't have calmed myself down, actually filling my, you know, giving my notice today. But that would be foolish, because as much as I would like to think I don't need it for the money, I do. And then you get times like this and you think to yourself, I should have just, if I was going to end up effectively hating my job, I might as well have just been an accountant and earned loads more money. Like a couple of friends of mine.
I haven't
Hi,
been able to
Dasko.
sleep all week.
Get your bloody work done.
Can't you do something?
Of course.
Lazy bastard.
I'll have the town guards investigate tonight.
Thank you.
Leading up to Classic. Well, I mean, I would love to do some leading up to Classic, but unfortunately Blizzard keep teasing me, don't they? They put, you know, they put a new button on. So, like, first of all, they give you the Classic, what's it called? Hold on, I'm going to have to look at this now. What's it called? Yeah, Beta World of Warcraft Classic Stress Test. So I knew what that was about. I can't play it unless they're doing a stress test. Sod you. Then they put in Beta World of Warcraft Classic. I thought, oh, does that mean I can play it now? No. Then they put in World of Warcraft Classic. I know it's just there for when it comes out. But then you get thinking, oh, no, of course not. So if I click on the beta one, no, I can't play it yet. I'm not allowed to play it. So, yes. So, unfortunately, and I don't feel like just randomly talking about it without... Because at the moment, there's no point in randomly talking anymore about what WoW was like so much. It's really what it's going to be like in its new form. For which, of course, you need to test. And I am not tested.
Welcome to the town of Hakushe. The proving first, of course. Let me know. Of course. Though Hakushe, the proving festival has not been celebrated. I'm not sure. I hold it
I
because
don't like the sound of
yes,
the word festival.
as
It usually means some crap thing you've got to do. Like dancing. And that's the other bugger as well with WoW Classic. I mean, that is not one of the things that would allow me to get a fulfillment of strategic control. But that comes out the end of August, doesn't it?
With this paper
Just in time to go back to work.
Our
And the
town
busiest
doesn't
time
have-
of year as well. Oh, what's this? Use paper lotus. Alright then. Right. I knew... Okay, at least that wasn't the worst thing to have to do.
Through this proof, you have shown reverence. Well done. You overheard that? Ah, well, I don't. Good luck with the proof of strength.
Oh, proof of strength. That sounds better. When you say grinding, more able to work towards your own goal at your own pace. I don't know. I suppose different people have different ideas of it anyway. For me, it would involve, grind would basically be doing the same activity that you don't really enjoy over and over again. You know. So if you're doing something particular, just to get a thing, and it's very repetitive, and it's not something that you enjoy, because some things are repetitive. Like Mythic Raiding can be repetitive, you know. 40 wipes a night until you kill a boss. That can be repetitive. But if you enjoy it, then it's not really grindy. You don't really... So it might be like subjective as well, really, what is and is not grindy. Gather Sugar Daisy. Oh, okay. Would I be willing? Yeah, I'll put it on, Max. I mean, if the conversation keeps... The main reason I don't normally is because mostly it's just me playing a game and not really saying a great deal. I'm not someone who jabbers on. Well, okay, I might do. But I'm not someone who, like, is any good at it. So, you know, when there's actual conversations, then that's fantastic. But yes, I was thinking anyway of just put... Because at the moment there's not really much... Even though I've got a couple of videos planned, I haven't been having really time. One of the reasons I haven't really been having time is because I've been supposed to be preparing for an interview that I'm now not going to be having. That's been fun. But I suppose it does mean that I might have some time this weekend to get one of the videos done that I was wanting to do. Now, I've probably messed that up. Oh, it is. No, it's okay. I haven't. I do want to be down here. Didn't get the promotion. Well, it's more complicated than that, actually. It's weirder than that. It's not. No one's got it. They haven't appointed. It's not just that they haven't appointed. That they've appointed and just not me.
You return. The other was the
In some ways, that's
elsewhere
worse.
Think that the adepts at the cradle worked miracles
Oh,
to
God.
stave off the flu.
Something that
Now I
matters.
see that they only hid the sick in the wilderness to let them die. How can this one just ignore that? How can I dedicate my life to such a place? Yes, this one will step. Brothers, sisters, Vosby must speak about Silojo's passing. Before he passed, this one learned the truth of the stricken, of the role we healers played in their suffering. No longer. In Shrendar's name, we must go to Bandar's litter. We must help the stricken, and we must try to heal this age-old wound, for their sake and for ours.
Let's see. Oh, I think we're done with this bit then. Sometimes you just have to hang around a little bit, because when they go into their talky stuff, a new quest emerges once they finish talking, which you miss if you bugger off as soon as they start talking. But no, I think they're actually done. Oops, right. Actually, am I... Oh, what the hell? Oh, there's a leopard that wasn't very happy with me. Why is he not WoW anymore? Because, well, it depends what version of WoW. I get it for 8.2. No, I'm not. Not at all. For a casual player, I just don't think... For me, I don't want to be one of those who go, oh, wow, a load of shit these days. It's not doing it for me. I don't like pugging, so any sort of interesting content, which obviously is going to require a group, I don't like doing with pugs. I like doing it with people I know. You know, because otherwise, where's the social aspect, really? There's nothing sociable about pugs in WoW, let's face it. I'm not picking on WoW, it might be the same in any game, but I know it's not in WoW. And... so there's nothing. It's not worth it. I did think at least I'll carry on playing for the storyline, and I'm not ruling out going back because I've got loads to catch up on now, absolutely loads. So if I played a bit, you know, come back over summer, I could spend a full week playing it, just catching up on stuff. Because I've even stopped playing the PTR now. And, but there really isn't enough to keep my interest in it. Then get some work done instead of watching YouTube. And turn up tomorrow morning instead of just when you've got a lesson, maybe, if you can be bothered. Like, you know, I had one student in your class catch up everything by coming in every day last week. She's done it all now. Oh, God. Don't make me ban you from my channel. I had to do that with a student once. Is it really hot in the UK? It's sort of on and off. It was raining today. It's getting there. I mean, for me, it only has to be like 22 degrees and it's too hot. So it is getting there. But yeah, today it's sort of alternating between raining. Problem is, I was just thinking this morning as well when it was raining, I thought, I hope this doesn't ruin the cricket. And now, after we got our heads kicked in, I was thinking, I wish the rain had ruined the cricket.
5 Claw, I decided to join you. Unless she deserves to hear that I still live in my own
Stop
world.
swearing on my channel.
Well, here we remember the tales of the hero of ancient elsewhere.
Oh. I'm just going to steal your water. And then I'll listen to what you have to say.
Old Aneshi doesn't get many visitors, friend. Few find much comfort in the ancient tales of Gunzari during these trying times. Wait, Aneshi recognizes your friend. She is grown now, more serious, but this one knows Princess Aneshi's beloved wife, Zaima, worked with the militia for a time after we avoided you. Then you need to enter the palace. Jode above, old Aneshi can hardly believe his eyes. Princess Camira.
It is truly me, Castellan. But I am Queen Camira now. We will throw the usurper from my father's throne.
Oh,
We stay close to the castle. Zaima, my
I think
brave
they're
and
just talking.
beloved
Should
wife.
be all right, go ahead.
She passed information to the militia until the vile Uraxians got her. After that, Aneshi came here to restore this ancient shrine. This one will help you as well.
I don't like the fact that it seems to be near a danger area. But yeah, see, I never played any of the Elder Scrolls games, so I don't have any, you know, so I don't have any sort of hang-ups from this, because obviously there may be some areas, in fact I say may, I get those very strong impressions, some areas that maybe Elder Scrolls fans are less than happy about. I mean, I remember, because I was dead keen to play this, I remember being on forums during the beta process and all the rest of it, and there were plenty of, as you would expect, big Elder Scrolls fans who you could sort of tell really wanted Elder Scrolls 6, not Elder Scrolls Online. And, you know, and it was quite clear they were saying, oh, it has to be like this, it has to be like this. And I was just thinking, well, no, it's an MMO, it is going to have these sort of things. They're going, no, it mustn't do that. Well, it's going to. But it is a very different style of MMO to like your standard ones. It's certainly not a WoW clone. Do I play single player games or only multiplayer? I'll play whatever. It's just that the MMOs, because I'm playing this effectively as a single player game. I've not done any group work for a long time. And there's they're just they just seem better. I mean, some games, I know Witcher 3 people, you know, I had some students who a couple of years ago were saying that was really good, but at the time I was very much playing lots of WoW, didn't have time for it. I don't really feel like playing it now. Am I going to play Cyberpunk? I don't think so. In all honesty, I don't actually know if that's a game as well. What sort of game it would be. I haven't really seen anything that's coming out that I will play. I did try that Chaos Bane. That turned out to be a huge mistake. Hi, Corey. Have I seen the Baldur's Gate 3 reveal? Yes, I've had various people poking me about that. But unfortunately, no real details at the moment. Yes, I still have no beta invitation indeed. It's there on the thing. The game is there. It's just not playable for me. And you know, it probably won't be now. Just see if there's other people about. Oh, I always arrive when they've killed it. That is so annoying. I do still have the WoW subs going. Yes. I don't know why. I'm keeping 2 accounts active that I'm not playing. But I am. Right, well obviously there's no one around here. Let's give them a little heal. So that's the thing about this game I like as well. Okay, someone there with a Minotaur, they're struggling a little bit, they probably would have been fine. But you can go along and help them, you know, you don't have to join group or anything. You get credit for it, you get to loot it, all the rest of it. That's not in, well, it's a little bit in WoW now, it's not going to be in WoW Classic, that's for certain. It's the most selfish experience being out in the world in WoW. And people keep talking about, oh yeah, you form groups and things like that. It says you only do that if you're going to be on a task where it makes sense to join a group. If you're just doing, or if you just, you know, some people fair enough just fancy doing it. But again, the problem with that is you tie yourself to the quests that they're doing. And maybe you only wanted to do one little thing in that area and be gone. And then, because I used to do that a lot, you get into a group with someone and then you just think to yourself, hang on a minute, I used to feel compelled to help them out for a little bit as well. Do I plan on streaming Classic? If I have time to play Classic, then it will also make sense to stream it, yes. It all depends on do I have time, because everything is completely up in the air now. And about next year at work after, so completely up in the air. That's my opinion on 8.2. In all honesty, I can't really have much of an opinion. You know, after the talk by Eon, maybe Blizz gets it finally. No, this is like the 3rd time I've said this now. No. He is saying exactly the same thing he said at the end of Legion, and exactly the same thing he said at the end of WoD. He does this. He says, oh yeah, we got that wrong, after defending it, and then goes until you see the proof of what he's talking about. Don't believe a word of it. Did I hear there won't be language separated realms on the EU servers? What, for WoW Classic? But in either case, no, I didn't know that. Tell you what I recommend. I recommend getting your science coursework done. It is down. No, well there are. I mean, it does exclude some people inevitably, but I suppose the thing is, if they're not expecting large numbers, then the servers would be too small, wouldn't they? There will be Russian servers. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Russia's quite big. More water. Unofficial. Oh, where people will naturally congregate. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that will happen, yeah. Yes, indeed, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they've got no issue with that. Makes sense in many ways. The only problem with it is it's a bit of a pain because the rules tend to be that you can only use the primary language in trade chat and things like that. I don't think that's a community rule, I think that's a Blizzard rule. It used to be anyway. Don't know whether it still is. Maybe they'll relax that a bit or something, but I'm pretty sure that used to be the case. I mean, I think the main issue with the language thing is you might get someone who doesn't speak English. There's no reason why they should have to, and but wants to play the game. But you know, if there's not enough of them, then they don't get a server. That's just unfortunate.
You have a look of victory about you.
Unaware players will stumble into language that they can't understand.
Quite right. It's part of why honoring our ancestors is so important. Yes, death. Of course, you'd need to perform a great dishonor for such a punishment. Don't dawdle now.
I'll tell you what I'm really curious about though with WoW Classic, and is what is the community going to be like? Because everyone goes on about, you know, oh, it's all about community and it's going to be great. I have a bit of a fear that you're going to have an elitist element in this community. People saying, oh, you must do it like this because they have some either conceit, might be genuine from the time, or preconceived notion of how the community should behave, and may bully people who are not behaving as they think they should. Oh no, you can't do it like that because that's not how people did it 14 years ago. So I hope I'm wrong on that, but I have a bit of a worry. Acquire the riddle item.
I don't feel so well.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, it's over there, so. Riddle? Hang on a minute. Oh, I was given a riddle. I didn't pay attention. I might need to pay attention. You must solve the riddle by bringing Valoria the correct item. Okay, well, I didn't listen. I didn't listen at all to her. Oh. Oh no. Crap.
Potentate for Sidushay ruled Cyrodiil for hundreds of years before.
Yeah, that's not helpful to me. Who was I supposed to... Right. Asher. None of these people are the people I need. No rest. Well, there'd be no need. No, there's nothing. There's no issue with rest if they place it after patch 1.9. It's supposed to be set at patch 1.12. The main problem is there isn't always a lot of specialist gear in the early raids. But, you know, the main problem used to be having to do 40 blessings every 5 minutes. Not you can't do DPS with that. Well, you know, that's not going to be the case in WoW Classic, so... People also say people stuck through dungeons because there was no LFD. A lot of people did. Some people would bugger off. You know, there was some piss taking, but yeah, mostly you had to. You had no. You knew you were going to be in there for a bit, even if it was a decent group. They were going to take a while. Private service had a rule to only speak, and there was never any. Okay, well, I mean, I don't. I mean, well, that's another thing to think about, isn't it? If there's been over the years a private server etiquette built up, which is alien to WoW itself, and then they try and force that on others, that could be an issue. Remember having to go back and look for new people because people left frequently, man, because you weren't in a very social guild. I mean, I wasn't in a guild for quite a lot of my dungeoneering. You know, it was a while before I got myself into a guild anyway. A guild where you could do runs like that. And I didn't find that people left on a regular basis. But occasionally they would. Sometimes what used to really annoy me was it takes a certain amount of time to get the group together. Then you've got to physically get to the place. And you do that. You know you've got to assign at least a couple of hours to do a dungeon. So you'd know that. And then people would get there and then someone would say, oh, sorry, my dinner's ready. I've got to go now. Why you tosser? But min-maxers... I mean, to be honest with you, you're better off being a healer as a paladin anyway. It's, you know... if I was to raid in WoW Classic, and I really don't think I'm going to have the time, but if I did, I would heal. But min-maxers editors won't let you wreck, that's for sure. They'll have no say in the matter. But I wouldn't do that anyway. There'd be no need. There's nothing wrong with healing. There's nothing wrong with healing now. Like, sometimes I wish I'd have kept up my healing skills, actually. Each expansion I thought, oh, maybe I'll do some healing stuff like that. And then I just thought, oh. Because it's time. I'd rather... If I had more time to have spent on the game in the last few years, then it'd be fine. But I'd rather make sure I was good at Ret than okay at several specs. Right, anyway, let's listen to this riddle because I completely ignored her.
Best of luck, dear.
What was the riddle again? Here we go.
I am most useful,
when empty.
I am most generous when full. What am I?
Bowl, candle, potion. It's going to be a bowl, isn't it?
You've returned. Yes, that is indeed the...
Is that the best they could come up with?
May your ancestors be...
Right, anyway, what else did I need? Talk to Asher. Oh, there you are.
Enjoy. I'm sure you've heard a great deal about Akaviri culture today, but tell me, did you learn anything about the magnate herself?
Yeah, I mean, the issue with a tank,
we need a key. Very well.
obviously, is... I mean, the tanks in general used to attract a certain sort of person anyway, because they would need to lead the way, and if you had a tank who wasn't really sure what they were doing or where they were going, it would slow the run down, and they were already pretty slow. So some people possibly weren't very patient. You would have been better off getting yourself into a guild, though, because apart from anything else, if you were a tank in a guild, there wasn't much that could tank.
Are you now? To be honest,
I mean, I have tanked as a paladin in dungeons in vanilla, and people have done it at Druid Bear and stuff like that. You know, you could do it. But really, there were many, many downsides to it. It was a desperation thing. So if you were a protection warrior... Right, I'm supposed to go into there. You know, you would be snapped up.
Glad you could make it. Quickly now, let's head inside. Well, that's certainly odd. There must be something here to take down that barrier.
I mean, I never had a problem with people using different languages in chat. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to speak in Polish, the message is not for me. It doesn't matter then, I don't care.
Nicely into these sockets on the floor.
Oh, puzzles. Right. And so lights up the east. Well, that's got to be fire east then, hasn't it? Place fire tablet. Right, next one. Drowns the south. Oh no, I've got to do the wind one first. West. What am I doing next? Earth tablet. North. And then process of elimination.
Looks like that did it. Let's head in. The magnate left a letter on her desk. Interesting, don't you think?
There were plenty. I mean, the good thing about, excuse me, Karazhan is not only did you have guilds still doing it right at the end, but even people like me who were in serious raid guilds, like top raid guilds, we used to still do Kara runs, obviously on alts and stuff like that mostly. Well, you know, when I was clearing Sunwell Plateau, it was not uncommon for me to do a Karazhan run on some character.
Well, it seems... Isn't that part of the Akaviri's... I'm not sure, but some Akaviri is so upset with
I like to play on a server with people who actually live close to you. No interest in... Oh, right.
This investigation, at least
just from a language point of view.
Clever. That's not the moral...
But like you said, it's inevitable that if there isn't a particular language available as a server, you know, people who speak that language are bound to coordinate and arrange to be on the same server as each other, aren't they? But yes, I am going to be very curious to see if there's any sort of antagonism because of different people's ideas of what the community rules are. Ignore the new players. We should not have to rely on external tools to play the game anyway. Well, she shouldn't have done a riddle from Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit rather, that one is, isn't it?
I see them, just up ahead.
Still you hunt me, assassin scum? Was my death not enough?
This disappearing act is getting very old, very fast. He seems to think that I was the Mer who assassinated him. Could be a simple case of mistaken identity. After all, my mother always did tell me I bear a striking resemblance to my... As a member of the Morag Tong, my grandfather executed a great... Best if we split up and go our separate ways.
Am I supposed to kill them? Yes, I think so. There's another necromancer there. Still haven't been on my necromancer since that first one. you not have to read quests though if you weren't very good at English? Because that was a thing, certainly. Like now, you would do like you're doing Modern MMOs. You would just sort of you would look at the map, get the quest, look at the map, and go, oh, it's over there. But then you had to read it. Like, you know, there'd be times when it'd say, oh, you go down that road and it's on your left, and then you'd be thinking, well, you'd go down the road for a bit, and you think, I've gone down this road for a really long way. Have I gone past it or something? You know, there was no clue. You just had to either double back and check or keep going and just assume it was actually a long way down the road, which it could easily have been. Well, you say having different languages is bad for immersion. Having names is bad for my immersion, but it's still good. Atlas with coordinates. And you stop that. Oh, I didn't. I don't think I had coordinates at the time, but it certainly had necessary. And there were a couple of times when it wasn't necessary.
No, you can't find out.
I was lucky I nearly missed that as well. Annoying for people who don't know English that well, but it's perfectly doable, just a little work around. Oh well, I mean, if it is, it is. I think, yeah, you say Germans, French and Spanish had their own. Was the Spanish there right from the start, though? I have an inkling that came later, or am I thinking of something else? I don't think all of them were there from the start.
Very good.
Well, I can't remember which ones did. I know Russian ones arrived later.
Her family go there.
There's Italian ones as well. I can't remember when they appeared.
And so, line bar.
I had an inkling Spanish ones appeared later because I've got a feeling.
Believe it.
Portuguese.
The
I've got a feeling there were a couple of. Well, I know there were a couple of Spanish players in my guild.
Waiting for you to speak the truth.
And one of them left to join a Spanish server, and I had an inkling it was a new one.
I'll meet you in the town
now,
square.
I suppose that doesn't necessarily prove that all Spanish ones were new at that time and not out at the start, but yeah, I did have a bit of a feeling. I can't remember though. All too long ago, and it wasn't exactly a topic that was of importance to me. What is that? Oh, above. Have I done a stupid thing by jumping off something randomly? 5 languages from the start: English, German, French, Spanish, and one more was there. Was it Italian then? It may have been Italian. There were Italian servers. I can't remember when they appeared. They may have been there from the start. Oh. I need to be in there. I still managed to get myself in the wrong place. I think I have. Played so many games you can't immerse yourself if it's in Hungarian. Well, I mean, you may have a slightly different thing. I've obviously over the years I've played with a lot of Scandinavian players because they, you know, tend to speak very good English anyway. And I've known a few Danes and Finns, and Danes in particular have said that I've known that they prefer to raid in English than Danish. They say they don't actually like speaking Danish when they have to communicate. I've known quite a few over the years that have all said the same thing about that.
False, my family name is cleared, and no one even needed to be executed. The Morag tongue isn't one to leave loose threads, even one that's been dangling for... Now, despite it, I'd ask you if I had to. My grandfather was... I'll let the Morag...
Learn German. German, yeah. I mean, no, I liked German.
My family
I love German.
From the potentate.
When I was in my late teens, I would say I could speak passable German, because, in fact, that comes back down to that scout camp I was talking about, 1988, because we were hosting, as well as some Swedish scouts, some German scouts, and because in the next year at school we were due to start learning German, way too late, because that's what we do in this country. Instead of teaching you from a young age, they wait for bloody ever. But anyway, so I was quite interested, picked up a bit. And then my uncle, I had an uncle who was Polish, but he spoke German. And he helped me as well. So and I used to watch German telly. So I would watch like shows like that I was familiar with, but in German, like Quantum Leap and stuff like that. I used to watch Popeye as well. The German, whoever did the acting for Popeye in Germany, the laugh sounded like a machine gun. It was weird as hell. But then Popeye's laugh is weird. But so yeah, I wasn't bad. I wasn't fluent because I wasn't conversing frequently with native or even fluent German speakers, so you can't really get through to that level of practice. But I was all right. I could cope. I could even translate the songs in the Eurovision Song Contest in German. In fact, that's what my uncle used to do, because we used to go round and stay with them over summer. Not all of summer, but over a bit of summer. And Eurovision Song, sometimes if the Eurovision Song Contest was on while we were around, yeah, he'd make me translate the German and the French ones, but I wasn't so good at the French ones. Oh no. But yeah, but I then just stopped. There was a time about 10 years ago when I first quit WoW. Probably was about 10 years ago, was it? Anyway, during Wrath, when I first quit WoW, and I started playing Lord of the Rings online, and there was one time when I was pottering about, and I came across someone who needed some help, but he was German, and he really didn't speak very much English at all. So I decided that my German was better than his English, and started to try and, explain things in German. It actually worked. We sort of got on all right. But I wouldn't even be able to do that now. It's just completely lost. In fact, that was the last time I even tried, speaking German. But anyway, let's have a look. So what's that? I don't really care for raid language, but the spell zone name is so cringe in Hungarian. English sounds badass. Don't know if it's the same for English-speaking people. I mean, the problem with... Sometimes, like, you just let these things pass over you. Like the Swamp of Terror and things like that. I know that's not a WoW one. But you sometimes get those sort of things where it does actually sound a little silly. But if you're really into your fantasy and stuff, you will have heard these sort of things so often before, you tune it out. I'll give you an example. So I was a big Doctor Who fan when I was growing up. And there's a particular Doctor Who story from the 1970s called The Deadly Assassin. And, it was before I was born, but I'd read the books and I watched, and stuff like that. And it just passed me by. But then one year I remember watching it and just thinking, The Deadly Assassin. What a stupid name for the title of something. What sort of assassin? It's a total tautology. If you're an assassin, of course you're deadly. If you're not deadly, you're not an assassin. You don't need the... so I just suddenly thought that's a really stupid title. But But, you know, you just... when you're used to reading this sort of literature from a young age and you're not really questioning things at that young age, these things just sort of wash over you, don't they? Whereas if maybe you're joining a genre or something like that later on, it does feel a bit silly sometimes, maybe. Cringy because the localization is very bad. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, they should really just change the name completely then, shouldn't they? Just come up with their own. The evil torturer. I don't know, a torturer doesn't have to be evil. I mean, you can't be too squeamish. I mean, dentists aren't evil, not all of them. There was the evil one in Little Shop of Horrors, of course. Right, I've got a strong, notion that I'm in the wrong, or on the wrong level at least. Did I need to? I don't need to be on the aqueduct, surely. No. Oh, I mean, German has a very interesting way of forming words.
Join us in the worship of our
I mean, that was something I always found. Yeah, I when I was learning German, because you can sort of think, particularly if you're British and you don't really do languages, you can sort of, a lot of people I think imagine, and as you would if you've never actually been taught a language properly, that learning another language is just the same language as yours, only with different words. But it's not. And it's not even just sentence structure, which of course is very different in German as well. Although at least there's a logic to German sentence structure. There's a lot more logic in German than English.
Has come to lead us.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. And but yeah, it's just the way, the way certain things. I'm trying to think of some examples now. Like telling the time. So at the moment it's nearly 8:30. So, in this country, we'd say 8:30, 8:30. But in Germany, you'd say 9:30, wouldn't you? 9:30. And, both of them make sense because it'd be half. Whether you say 2:30 or 8:30 is just a cultural thing. But you do get those differences. Where am I supposed to actually be? Oh, I've missed my rendezvous. The voice acting is great. You mean it was great 20 years ago and some old movies are awesome in Hungarian, but the written localization can be tricky in games or role-playing games. Okay. Right, this is not the place. This is not the way to go.
Come witness the miracle at Sunspire.
I'm now thinking I do need to be on that aqueduct.
The divines have brought salvation.
There's not 100% how I get to it. Try going around here. Maybe I can't get to it from this end.
Join us in the worship of Alkosh. A divine lives among us. Come and give thanks to him.
I did actually consider creating a character in a German realm in WoW. Which, if I'd have stayed as a casual, I think I would have done. Just to keep, you know, because I know at the time I was certainly losing. I'd already lost a lot of the German I had, and I always feel terribly ignorant going, as you would, going into another country and you can't even speak the language. And I thought, and I'd never been to Germany, and I'd only been to Austria once. But I thought, and I didn't necessarily have a burning desire to go back, because not those countries, I just don't like going abroad anyway. Or even very far from where I am. But I thought if I did, you know, it'd be nice to think that there is at least one country in the world I could visit and speak the language. And an English-speaking country doesn't really count. Not even America. So... yeah, I did think I would like to try and...
Fiveclaw, over here. Tarn wants to
get back into it, and that would have been a good way to do it, but then I got into raiding, so I was like, no time for just little projects like that.
I recognized the bearing of the King's Claw the moment I saw him. Did you find us a way into the palace? The crypts. So that means another delightful trek through the sewers. The overwhelming stench of excrement still lingers from our last visit. The siege weapon, just thinking out loud. Captain, I'm counting on it.
I wouldn't even be able to take advantage of any of the things in Germany anyway. You know, what do you, when you, well, the British at any rate, when you associate with things with Germany, it's big beer steins. Well, I can't do that anymore. You know, nice cakes, but I can't eat cake.
Are lacking? Oh, how
and big old sausages, but again,
amateur. And have you already forgotten the part you played in the halls of Colossus?
Always seems to be that consumption in Germany somehow. I don't know whether that's just the British, you know, association. Awesome castles. I suppose that yes, there would be.
I'll get to the far bastion. Best we don't travel together.
Sounds like you need to move to Germany. That reminds me of that Eddie Izzard sketch when he's talking about the Americans coming over, you know, Disney coming over to Paris to make Euro Disneyland, and he was like, you know, mocking, you know, saying as if they were going back to their bosses, going, we might need to make the Disney castle a little bigger. They've actually got them over here, and they're not made of plastic.
Join us in the worship of Alkosh.
Oh no, not that one. Where am I supposed to actually be? I'm just doing these quests, not paying a blind bit of attention to where I'm actually supposed to go, am I? Right. There we go.
A divine lives among us.
See you later, Rasmus. What's the difference between Czech, Slovakian and Hungarian anyway? Oh. Question I can answer, certainly. I mean, when you got similar languages, some people, you know, do.
Good. We have work to do. Are you ready to disable the siege weapons?
You know, like Spanish and Portuguese can pick up each other's languages very easily, and Swedish and Finnish, I think, as well. And Danish comes to that, I guess.
As Namado becomes a sleek Uraxian soldier. How do they see with this thing on?
Like, I had a student a few years ago who
Hurry!
Finally,
who she didn't have very good grades from her GCSEs, truth be told. But she had one really good one, and it was in Spanish. And I said to her, "Are you Spanish?" And she said, "No, but Portuguese." That explains why she got like one really good grade in a language which she's actually quite familiar with. Well, it's easy for me to know all my neighbouring countries because we're an island. We've basically got Ireland. But I'd be reasonable. I reckon I could pick out the countries on a map of Europe. Is it? Have I done here? Destroyed the siege weapon, so she can't fire on her own city anymore.
Nalado will deal with the soldier. Oh, this one can't wait to get out of this dungy armor. The south platform is under attack.
Stupid cats! Wait, I better warn my lieutenant first.
Okay.
Go, destroy the siege weapons. Nalado will clean up this mess.
See, I'll tell you what I don't get about this here quest. How is it that that cat in disguise has to distract a single guard who's apparently stopping us coming through the door, and yet when we come through the door, we quite happily kill half a dozen guards?
From over here.
It could be argued I don't really need help with the one guard. Hang on a minute, did I miss something? No.
She did it! Now let's meet the others at the sewer entrance.
Alright, well they've tried jumping over there and didn't make it, so I'm guessing I can't either. I should just follow them. Played a lot of Total War, that was your history lesson. Where am I going?
Here come the others now.
There are too many of us. We need to split up.
A queen should not rush into danger. It is unseemly. This one should be at her side to keep her safe. Nalado will follow orders, though. We must make our way through the crypts and into the palace before Chimera gets into too much trouble, yes? Chimera is queen now. Yes. And if...
I'll scout ahead! Tally-ho!
Well, that's a loose definition of World War there. You're gonna let me in? There we go. I mean, the Ottoman Empire was not really the world. It was stretched across quite a lot. As far as I'm aware, it didn't involve the Americas or Asia. Or much of Africa, I wouldn't have thought either. But Switzerland really ought to know better than picking fights with anyone. It is completely surrounded by major European powers. And has been for a very long time.
Let us see if the master key still works.
It must have been like sleeping in a lion's cage. All those mountains and cuckoo clocks aren't going to keep you safe forever.
In a long, long time.
Oh, okay. I suppose British America would have joined us. Did Portugal have much of Africa? I thought they mostly focused on South America. I suppose everyone at some point had a slice of Africa. Even the Africans themselves at one point. Oops, where am I going? Find a way into the palace.
Wait. This is the royal crypt, but it has been disturbed.
Bringer of peace, blah 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 blah.
They took his body. They desecrated the king's grave. And from the looks of it, the queen's and Kamira's siblings as well. Zamarak, Dark Moon.
Maybe it's like Civilization, where you can have India assaulting with elephants against someone with F-14s. America, I suppose. God, I haven't played Civilization. I think the last Civilization game I played was Civilization 4.
We can reach the royal chambers through the Chapel of the Guiding Moons and the Great Hall.
Oh. I'm not sneaking there. Good. Oh, not going to kill innocents. Alright then.
That's far enough. Queen Euraxia doesn't want to be disturbed.
I think the monkey's got Queen Euraxia ones.
The Chapel of the Guiding Moons is just ahead. It's the necromancer.
You say that these games tend to stray a little bit from history, but not much. But then that's like a Hollywood historical film, isn't it? Where it's based enough on history that people think it's a historical film, but it gets something severely wrong, whereby people go away with a completely misleading impression.
Another member of your party.
Things should either be obviously in fiction, or they should be totally factual. This is what stops me watching a lot of films. Can't be doing with them.
But I also want to deal with my inferior duplicate. What to do? What to do?
Leave the door to Zamarak. This one will make an exit.
More undead!
Starting point is historically accurate. Really?
Go. Samarak will guard your backs.
That seems to be that. Oh, can't loot that.
Go left while this one goes right. We will meet in the royal chambers.
Remember the Ottomans conquering Ireland while England was fighting France.
They're going to destroy me! Destroy you? No, we're simply focusing on the state of nature.
We will transfer your duplicate's animus into you. But our time with Queen Euraxia has reached its end. Come along.
Please, not like this. Try smashing these glass baubles.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't pleasant. You go on. I'll be along in a snap.
There. Make haste. Euraxia is in the palace courtyard with Mulamnir. Be cautious. We need to know what Euraxia and the dragon are planning before we attack.
Can I steal some more things first?
The moon gate you seek lies to the southwest. Zumab Foom has the key. Now, about my
Big
request.
dragon.
The necromancers have already agreed to serve Calgrontide. You no longer interest us, Euraxia Tharn.
How dare you! We had a deal! What's this now? My incompetent half-brother and... Aha! The lost princess returns. Nalado!
Wow.
Here. Your parents have missed you so, princess.
Oh dear.
I never liked you, Al. Now do me
Oh my
a favor
goodness.
and just die!
Oh dear.
I'll take down that shield. You deal with the The shield is down.
I'll destroy you all!
Oh.
The runes of oblivion
Stop
shield
hiding
me!
from my AoE.
Of Euraxia Thar!
I'm running out of my AoE again. Oh, is it going with weight loss? Yes, it's going very well with weight loss.
Once this all began. Perhaps.
At the moment, anyway. Your Hungarian friend wants to play Europa Universalis. I've not heard of that one. But after he found out Hungary was in a pretty bad situation in 1444, he never touched the game again. Ah, well, couldn't he have rescued the situation? Surely that's the benefit of playing games like that. Can you not? I mean, I don't know. I can only speak of Civilization. You can choose whichever nation you want. Although I always used to choose the Carthaginians for preference, simply because they got their special troop quite early on. And obviously, if you get yourself a nice big boost early on, which meant you had a good chance of getting a golden age early on, then you can basically beat people up before they get too advanced. Yeah, but I've not played it. I have only played Civilization in terms of any sort of games that are even remotely of that type of thing, geopolitical type games. Well, I call it geopolitical. It did, in my case, always end up being largely just invading people. You could, I mean, I did used to, you know, try and take over some areas with culture as well. You know, you build things with high cultural values next to their borders. I don't play it for realism. I play it to see Gandhi in a bowler hat.
We will deal with the fallen later.
And also
I
to launch
fear more
nuclear
pressing
weapons.
matters must concern us now. May the dark
That upset people. You didn't make too many alliances once you'd started a nuclear
over.
war.
Even a queen needs to consult with such a learned person.
Ooh, I got a skill point.
Throne. For too long, a tyrant has sat upon it. But now...
The men must recognize you as the heir of a Nequina. But the people already cheer your name. A word, Five Claw.
Finally, this palace is a labyrinth. Did I miss anything?
Chimera's parents would be proud of how you bring news both welcome and could they be interested. Even now, Abnor Tharn searches through the documents in the royal study, worried.
Alright, let's have a look. First of all, what's that? Don't even know what that means. Notable homes has been updated with the Hall of the Lunar Champion collectible. Oh, it's given me a house. Oh, is it just actually just given me a house? All right, let's go and have a look at my new house. The first one I've not had to actually buy. Problem with Civ was you couldn't play a map like Europe. No, you couldn't, with the nations in their correct positions. Well, no, but I mean, no, because the thing is, let's say you wanted to play a game, like 4 of you, and one of you wanted to be an Inca, one of Egyptian, one Chinese, and one German. You know. Can't really start in the normal positions. Load visitor list. What? I don't need that. Bugger off. Right, let's just see. Is this it? This does not look like much of a reward. This looks like a crumbling ruin that they've given me. Because it's too expensive for them to sort out. Ooh. Is there another part? Is this it? Right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's see if I got any other things. Browse. Oh! Where? Hold on. I want to know where I am. Hall of the Lunar Champion. So I'm supposed to place something on an altar. Is this the altar? Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's try this. Place on the Joan Light altar in the Hall of the to awaken the lunar reflector. All right. I'm assuming this is the altar. There's not much else here. Okay, maybe it's not. Alright. Oh, no, okay. I know what it is. Alright then, fine. I have to place it on one of these, do I? Oh no, I'm not very good at this. Right, get off, you bugger. Shit. Does that work? I don't know if I played it on right. Or do I just play, was it the first one? Maybe. Maybe it just automatically puts it on the first one you would naturally come to. Oh, right, okay. It was supposed to go on that one. I've done a thing. Ooh, shiny. What is this? Anyway, sorry, wasn't reading. Took about 1,000 hours to understand the basics of EU4. You think you figured out how to maintain your manpower and you start to go bankrupt all the time. Now you know how to manage your eco. I mean, the first sort of game, like anything like this, I played was when I was really young, and I mean really young, like 5 or 6 years old, called UKPM. It was like a political game where you were the Prime Minister and you made various decisions. And I had no understanding of anything. And whenever I played it, I tried to be really nice. And, you know, and I would fund all sorts of things and end up with hyperinflation. And I'd ended up getting, you know, having a vote of no confidence in me within like 6 months. So it basically taught me that 6-year-olds shouldn't be Prime Minister. Not that we've got anything much better coming at the moment. More the house unlocks as you do more of the quests, I see, yeah. So at the moment I have a shiny thing. Okay, that's alright. Well actually, while I'm here, I might as well just stick some random stuff down. Because I've been collecting some all sorts of crap. Right, what else have I got that's just rubbish? Dead wood, right. Let's just place a bit of dead wood somewhere. There we go, some dead wood. What else have we got? Saplings. Yeah, why not? We'll have a tree indoors. On a stone floor, because that makes sense. Oh, statues. Yeah, let's go stick all the statues down. All the statues. Make it look like a basilisk's been on the loose. Or like a giant chess set. It's like the dead wood on the floor. Exactly, yeah. It's a conversation piece. A dead wood on that bit of the floor. And living wood, sort of, on that bit of the floor. Sort of. Right, what else have we got? Undaunted trophies. Alright then. Stick this on the wall somewhere. No one will notice it there. Lighting. Oh yeah, braziers. Plonk these things down. I mean, there's probably enough lighting as it is, but it can always do with some more. Oh, special brazier. That can go there. Candles. Can I place this on top of something? Let's stick it on top of this. Another sconce. Where is it a bit dark? A bit gloomy over here. We'll put it on top of these rocks. There we go. Not so gloomy now. Oh, we don't need to stick the mounts down. Oh, let's have a little kitty just patrolling the area. I don't think they actually patrol, but you know, you can stay there anyway. Is it the only house? I don't know. I mean, I would have thought some more would come out. You know, houses, they always do. Oh yeah, we've got to have a bed. It's not a house, we haven't got a bed. Where's the bed gonna go? Bed can go there. No, actually that light will keep me awake. Can't really do much about the light though. Tell you what, I'll put it next to this tree. Banners, yeah, why not? There we go. Alright, not loot. I mean, let's have a little look, because let's look if there's anything new on the Intrepid Gourmet bundle. Okay. No, oh, look, some houses here, look. Serenity Falls Estate and Sleep Creek House, so there's 2 on this store for purchase. What else is there? Music box. Oh, new dice. Let's see what we've got. All blues and yellows, not really what I'm after. That's alright, let's have a look actually, because I could do with a very vibrant blue, but these are sort of pastel-y. No, these are really just sort of blue-grey, aren't they? Special offers. No, don't need that. Featured. Nothing really. Already got that. But anyway, get myself back to Davon's Watch and then be done, I think. Right, so where is my shrine?
Shore's bones. The rigger knew he should have brought more.
What's that message telling me about? Oh yeah, okay. I should do one dragon at least. I haven't done a dragon. Let's do a dragon. I'm not sure this is the best. How do I get to it? It's not always straightforward, actually. I think it might be this way. Right, well, it's landed now, so let's get moving. I wish they would land near away shrines. Who's shooting at me? Oh, I hear a dragon. There we go. Alright then. crap. I think there's a small number of people taking them on, and that might be an issue. Right, I don't really fancy keeping these up. I'm going to drag it. Move down. Right, there's really not enough people here. It's quite strange that just one person took it on and then other people just arrived bit by bit. So now we've got all this shit. It's like crouching. This is going to take a while. There's more people arrive. I'm going to have to do some real healing. Alright, just get smashed by his wing. Oh, there's a sky shot there as well. I keep trying, every week I do this, don't I? I keep forgetting to update the sky shot add-on. Oh no. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, is it? What is he going to do? He's breeding. I suppose you could use this sort of thing to practice a bit of basic tanking, couldn't you? Oh no. Oh, trying to save them. Did I? Yes, I did. Well, someone did anyway. Alright, what have we got out of that? Health ring. No. What is this? Oh! I can research from that. Right. Back to original plan. Am I going the right way? Oh yes, I came back this way. Alright, Darren's watch. Somewhere I got an item I can search. I need to check that out first.
Watch those weapons.
Wasn't any of them. All of them. Ah.
What business?
And finally, let's have a little look. Oh yeah, I remember from last time. I need more of these.
Not the effect I was looking for.
Right. That'll be that. We'll be back next week if Blizzard don't let me into WoW Classic again. So thanks for coming on, everyone. I will finish it off now. and have a good night.